Hey y'all, this is Mike from Houston Cool Pools, and if you're getting this video, that means you're a brand new customer of ours. We're so excited to get started on your project, and at this point you've already signed a contract and you've written us a deposit check and you're ready for us to get started. And as much as we'd like to get started right away, there's a lot of things that we need to do in order to make sure that the construction process happens as smoothly as possible. The very first thing we need to do if you live in a Homeowners Association subdivision is submit for that Homeowner Association approval. So we need to hit the drawing board and make some construction plans for your Homeowners Association. Your salesman is going to ask you for your Homeowner Association application. We'll fill that out for you and we'll read over that to see if your specific association requires different information than normal. We'll get everything put on the plan, and then we're going to scan that and send it to you. Unfortunately, we can't submit it on your behalf because we're not the homeowners and they don't want to deal with us, but we're going to get everything prepared for you so that you can send it off to them. This is the first thing that we want to do because this is one of the longer processes that we don't have control over. So we want to get that done as quickly as possible, get it to you so you can submit it. Most homeowner associations have about 30 days to give you the approval. Most of them take about a week or two, but there are some that take that full 30 days. So we want to get this process started as quickly as possible. Similar to a homeowner association is if you happen to live in a city where we need to get a permit. So the city of Houston, city of Katy, city of Tomball, these are all municipalities where we need to pull a permit. So we need a little bit more detailed plans than we need for our homeowner association, but we need to put all that together, fill out all the appropriate paperwork, and then submit that to the city. That can take a couple of weeks, and so that's something that we want to get on right away as well, so that we're not held up by waiting for the permit. In addition to a standard permit, if you happen to live in a flood zone, or if you happen to live in an area where extra engineering is required for flood mitigation or drainage issues, we're going to have to go to that engineer and get all the drawings and all the mitigation necessary to submit to the city. So that can take a little while as well. So that's not all of our jobs, but that does happen from time to time in certain areas of the city of Houston. The next thing that we need you to do is come into our office. Your salesman is going to ask you to come in and allot a few hours of time so you can come into our showroom and look at all the different tile and stone that we have, look at our equipment pad, and just kind of see what's going to be in your backyard. The most important thing we need to do to not delay construction is to have you select your materials and then order your materials. When we get to that stage in construction, we don't want to be waiting for materials to come in. So if you can come in, select it before construction, we'll order it. And even before you leave the showroom, if it's during office hours, we'll call distributors and make sure that the tile that you selected, the stone that you selected is in stock. If it's not in stock, we'll let you know when it's going to come in, and if there's another tile that you like almost as much, sometimes a lot of our customers will just go with that to not delay that process. The next thing we need to do is paperwork. You've already signed the contract, but we still have more paperwork. We want to make sure that there's no surprises. We want to make sure that you understand everything that you have purchased, and we want to make sure that you understand what it's going to take from you to maintain certain aspects of your pool. So the very first thing is we're going to have you sign a material selection sheet, verifying that you've chosen those materials, and depending on the material, we want to let you know what the upkeep to keep that material looking nice and clean and sparkly is. Another form we have you sign is a plaster form. Plaster is the inside of the swimming pool. You know, there are certain chemical parameters that you need to keep your water within to keep your plaster looking good, and so we'll go over your plaster agreement form with you. From time to time, in order to get into your backyard, we're going to have to access your neighbor's yard, or maybe just kind of go onto their yard just a little bit. And even if it's just a foot or two, we need to get permission from your neighbor. They need to know that we're going to be on their property and that there might be a little grass damage or sprinkler head damage, and so we will talk about a neighbor access form. If you decide to do a salt system, salt is a great system for sanitation. However, it does have some issues that a lot of people don't think about, and we have a salt disclaimer form that we ask you to sign. Just knowing, you know, what you need to do as the homeowner and owner of this salt system to maintain it and to protect the materials around the swimming pool with salt in the pool and salt in that backyard environment. The next item is our pre-construction checklist. Basically, this is our 30 years of building swimming pools. All the things that we've encountered over 30 years, we want to bring those to you. We want to be very upfront with things that you're going to encounter during the construction process, and we just want to talk about them. And we want to make sure there's no surprises. And so we have it's a 6 or 7 page, I'm going to warn you now, pre-construction checklist, but these are items that set us apart from other pool builders. We're all about no surprises and all about our 100% on budget guarantee, which we achieve by this checklist. The next thing that we need to do, and we need you to do for us before we can start construction, is make sure that we don't have any utility lines in the way of our pool construction. We've already been out to your house and we've looked at everything, but the thing we can't tell is what's underground. And so at this point, you should have already had the utility companies come out and mark your phone line and your gas line. And then as far as your electric line, I can't tell you why, but when we call for markings, CenterPoint does not mark the electrical line going from that ugly green box at the back of your house to your meter. So you might need to call a private locator to make sure that that line is not running through the pool area. And so these are things that need to be determined beforehand, because the last thing we want to do is start digging and hit a line. These are things that we will work with you on, and these are things that will give you the numbers to call people, but no matter who builds your swimming pool, it's the homeowner's responsibility to make sure that these lines aren't in the way, and if they are in the way, we need to get them rerouted, moved over to the side so that we can dig the swimming pool. So we actually are going to have another video that gives you much more detail on this, because this is such an important part of pool construction. We actually call it the hidden cost of pool building, and we don't want it to be something that we don't know about, and so very part of the pre-construction process. If you happen to have any trees in the area that you want us to put the swimming pool in, or any of the outdoor living area in, those trees need to come down before we can excavate the pool. So if it's a tree that is inside the pool area, then you're going to cut that tree down and leave about a 4-foot stump. And we're going to use that 4-foot stump to push on it and pull on it and dig underneath it to remove that tree for you. If the tree that you want to remove is outside of our excavation area, then you'll need to cut that tree down and then have your tree company grind the stump below ground. A good 8 to 10 inches would be ideal. And so we need to make sure that the trees are removed out of your yard before we can get in there with our machinery to start digging the swimming pool. So once we get all of the prior things done, all the forms signed and city permits and our HOA approval, once we have all that done, now we're getting ready to dig the pool. The very next thing that we do is go and paint the pool in your backyard. So we'll go and paint it out and to the exact dimensions that our designers designed it to. And then we want you to walk out there with us, and we'll kind of walk through the painted area so you can kind of see where the spa is going to be and where the sun shelf is going to be, and this is where the deep end is going to be, and this is where the waterfall wall might be. And so this is the very last step before we dig, just to make sure that you're comfortable with the layout of it and you're comfortable with the amount of decking that you have. And it's not often, but from time to time customers will say, you know what, this is bigger than I thought, or this is smaller than I thought, and we can make adjustments at that point. And so we will lay out the swimming pool for you to walk through. If you happen to be living in a municipality where I need to get a permit, a lot of the cities will come out and look at this paint on the ground to make sure that what we told them via the permit as far as where the pool is going to be is actually where it is, and so they'll come and measure our paint lines and make sure we have the right distance away from utility easements, the right distance away from houses. So that's the last step, and once we finish this stage, it's time to schedule the dig. So anyway, as you can see, there's a lot for us to do. It sounds kind of daunting, but don't worry. We're gonna hold your hand through the process. We're gonna help you through it all. And our goal is to have all of the paperwork and all the utilities and everything done by the time we get our city permit or our homeowner association, so that once we get the okay from them, we can schedule the dig and get to building your pool.